All right, we're going to call the meeting to order for the regular meeting of December 9th with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any additions or corrections?
Yes, we do. And 4.1 is updated. You have a copy of that in front of you. It's also updated. And 5.7 is, we have an addition for 5.7.
What was the other one?
The first one is an update from the original for the playground. And then on 4.1, and then 5.7 is the update.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
for the Wells County Foundation grant.
Thank you. I'll take a motion.
Yep. I'll motion to approve that adding, sorry.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, right hand. All right, moving on to the minutes from the meeting on November 25th.
If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, right hand. And monthly claims.
I'll make a motion to approve. I will second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, right hand. And moving on to the superintendent's report.
Recognitions.
Right now we have, I would like to ask Sergeant Adults to come up along with
Sorry.
OES, Ossian, the middle school, and also representing Lancaster. I think Mr. Taylor is going to be the representative for a Purple Star designation.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sergeant Wells. I'm your guys' local Indiana Army National Guard recruiter. I know you guys have a pretty big presence here with the Air Guard, which is awesome. But the governor of Indiana has tasked me personally with handing out 3 certificates. So the Norwell Middle School, thank you, Lancaster Elementary, and then Ossian Elementary. So these certificates, I think there was a post in the news banner, gives a brief description. But for me, I feel like it's amazing to have our schools from the community I'm from. I literally see this guy every single morning whenever I drop off my daughter to preschool. So to get recognized in the state of Indiana for this award, you have to be military friendly. You have to put on a Veterans Day program. And for me, like I said, having my little daughter go to these schools, I came from Bluffton, I'm a Bluffton boy, so thankfully my wife, Katrina Zepke, if you don't know who that is, has bridged that gap, and we still fight every day to see if she's going to be a Bluffton Tiger or a Norwell Knight. But it is awesome for me to be able to be the one to present these tonight. So thank you guys so much, and thank you guys for what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, sorry. Moving on to superintendent's report.
Okay, next, I'm going to have Marcia Dershot and have you come up, and we're going to discuss the Ossian Inclusive Playground update.
All right, so I'll just go through kind of how everybody's got a design on their table. So April of 24, we decided to start getting quotes for this project. We bid out 3 different companies bid it. Play Pros, American Parks, and Sinclair Recreation. American Parks, we let them come up with their own design and pick what we liked best. American Parks was $816,000, Play Pros was $752,000, and Sinclair was $753,000. Between us, Mindy, and Teresa, we liked Sinclair's design better. They were $1,000. It wasn't even $1,000. It was $300 more than the other one. So we went with them. And then we've worked with Marcia throughout this whole time, and it's been great. So we had her back in whenever we decided to go forward with this bond project, to kind of update what we had, make some changes. The full concept when we originally had it, like I said, was $753,000, and that was to do the all rubber everywhere. And then we were tasked to kind of scale that back to see what we could save some money. So then we went with the option, well, we didn't go with the option. She brought the option of going with some mulch, some poured in place rubber. I didn't like that because it was gonna be a maintenance issue and just looks dirty over time. So then we kind of, with Teresa and Mindy's help, we scaled down the playgrounds a little bit to get to where we're at today. So we're all completely poured in place rubber, all inclusive, is that the right term for it? All ADA accessible. And she'll go over kind of the slides that we have there on what it looks like for the kids to play in. So with that, the school system bought a new playground for the pre-K in 2020. So they gave us a price to move that playground from Ossian to Lancaster, brand new, well, 6 years old. So that will go to Lancaster. And then there's two other big structures at Ossian that will get, there's some broken pieces on there that we're gonna have them fix it up and move those to Lancaster. So Lancaster each playground will have two large play structures along with what's currently there. Part of our job as the maintenance, we're going to save money. We're gonna take out all the mulch. I talked to her today, it's typically 18 inches of mulch that we have to take out, put stone back in, and then they'll do the poured in place at Ossian, and then we'll remulch everything at Lancaster. In order to do that, for us, we don't have a dump truck. So for us, we would like to buy a dump truck to move all of that. I think between us, we figured there's gonna be 585 loads of either mulch that goes out, or stone that comes in. And we looked at pricing for a dump truck is about $70,000 for a used truck. And with her talking with Marcia, the cost to remove the mulch alone and move it off site was gonna be almost $430, let me see, make sure that's right, $449,000. So with us doing it and the cost of a dump truck, we're gonna be under $100,000 for everything. Any questions on that part before I let her? She'll go through the playgrounds, kind of explain what stuff is. And if you guys have any questions on that.
So thank you for your time today. So basically sorry.
Yeah, I would say
I was gonna go to the screen.
Go to the mic.
The 5 to 12 playground is inclusive and it's also play on. And for the elevated play components, we have 17 elevated play components. 9 of them are accessible by ramp. 17 are accessible by transfer. We have ground level components, 8 required by ADA is 6. We have 5 different types of ground level play components, and what is required is 3. So we have gone above and beyond the standard ADA compliance for ADA, and it is basically an inclusive playground, so kids of all abilities and the teachers can also play together with the kids on the playground. And for the 2 to 5 structure, we have 14 elevated play components. 8 of them are accessible by ramp. 14 are accessible by transfer. We have 8 ground level components and 4 different types of ground level activities. And again, we have gone above and beyond the standard ADA compliance for playgrounds and turned it into an inclusive playground for all abilities. And we focused on sensory, social, emotional, and communication, which depending on what the child's ability is, they can all communicate and play together on the playground. So Game Time has a third-party research company through Utah State University, and they're the ones that do the Center for Outreach Education for inclusive design, and then they give us that information, and that's how we design our playgrounds. So on the playground, if we want to go through the slides, it's play on and it's also inclusive. So play on is for physical. It's through Shape America. So we have kids of all abilities that can play and have fun. on both playgrounds. So the first playground is the north playground, which is the 5 to 12. There's a variety of different types of swings, there's ramps, there's various play panels, and we've kind of already went over the different types of play panels that are on there. So kids can socialize, communicate, and have imagination play. And there's slides, there's swings, there's breaking, which is overhead. There's various types of spinning. You can see that on that screen there, the duo spinner. That's for a child with autism. Sometimes they don't like to be touching, so there's a panel in between them, so two kids can actually sit on there and spin together. And spinning is a very good sensory relief for children. And there's also a net spinner on this structure. You can get a lot of kids up there to spin together, and it's also inclusive. A child can transfer out of their wheelchair and get onto the deck and spin with the other kids. So that's always fun for kids of all abilities to be able to play together and socialize together. We also included a sway bench. Sometimes if a child would have like a little bit of a meltdown and they might want to be able to be with a teacher out on the playground and kind of swing together, just kind of give them some sensory relief. So we incorporated a sway bench on both playgrounds. And the Spin With Me is in the bottom of that, and basically kids can transfer out of their wheelchair, they can sit. It's a molded seat, so if they need additional support for their torso, there's the seats on it will kind of move around to the side to give them some extra support, and the kids work together and spin it together by holding the handle in the middle. So that's another social play, and it's also fun for kids to work together of all abilities. And we also have balancing, looping patterns so that kids can run around the playground, go from the balance beam to the different stepping pods onto the equipment. And what it is, it's called play for kids in a wheelchair can go up the ramp, and then the other kids can go along the balance beam, and they're having parallel play. So that's kind of fun because they're playing together. And then it also has a lower overhead brachiating for a child in a wheelchair. They can actually grab the overhead rings and pull themselves across along with an able-bodied child. And we also have a communication panel. If you have a child that has a little bit of a trouble communicating, there's different icons on there, and they can point to the icons, and that will help them communicate with teachers and other kids on the playground. That is an inclusive whirl. You can get two kids in a wheelchair on there, and it spins together. Able-bodied kids can sit down, or somebody can transfer and sit in there, so you can stand in it and also run around the perimeter of it. And I've seen up to about 15 kids on that at one time, so that's a really fun one. And there's the spinning net that I was telling you, where a child can transfer out of their wheelchair and they can sit on the deck. Kids can climb and spin, so it's been a very popular piece on playgrounds. I would probably limit it to 3 inside, 3 outside, because the kids will kind of get a little overzealous, but it is fun.
That's your problem now.
Yeah. We did add the roller slide. That is really good for sensory relief. So a child can go down there, and it kind of gives them a sensory stimulation as they go down the rollers. So that's good for kids of all abilities as well. We have upper play component that has a driving wheel on it, so somebody on a wheelchair can actually get their legs underneath it and play on the activity panel. Instead of having a side approach, they can have a forward approach. So there's a lot of play components on here. There's a lot of looping patterns, different grades of elevation for kids to climb and get higher. Sometimes when kids are in a wheelchair, it's always fun for them to get up a little bit higher and get a different elevation view and have the parallel play with all the kids. There's climbing, swinging, sliding. We also have adaptive swings on there, so a child can transfer out of their wheelchair and swing with another individual. So that's always fun. They can have eye-to-eye attunement, which is like a bonding that you can have with kids when they're swinging on the playground, and both playgrounds have the adaptive swings on those as well.
I've seen at other schools adaptive swings for kids in wheelchairs that they don't have to get out of their wheelchair and can slide right on. Is that a possibility?
So a
we
platform
allow it?
swing, like what you're recommending, I have seen them on playgrounds in the past. CPSC and ASTM does not recommend it for a playground because what happens is the kids will be on the wheelchair and they'll be swinging and it's very heavy and a child will run by and not see it and they get hit. So those are usually in a playground where you kind of want to have it contained by itself because they're really not recommended for a public playground or a school playground. If you do have something like that, you would have to lock it down. But what we have seen is we follow CPSC and ASTM standards, so we don't recommend them for a school
Do
playground.
we have a lot of people that are wheelchair only?
No.
Okay, so not necessary at this point. Okay.
Yeah, but they do have the inclusive whirl that they can get on and spin. And, you know, if they can transfer, we have a lot of transfer pieces that they can play on too.
What's the black pen?
I'm sorry?
I don't, there's like a.
It's the
black-
guy
The
that
bocce,
they already have.
the bocce ball, yeah, bocce, or the.
Oh, okay, that's nothing.
Yeah, they're moving it.
Is, I see that it's not connected, and I know in previous iterations or a couple years ago, we talked about having the two connected. Is that, are we going away from that, or would we like them connected somehow?
I mean, the original plan had them connected.
One of the three had them
Right.
connected, but then I think we had the problems with the grade levels.
Yeah.
You know, third, fourth, and fifth grade on one playground, playing with preschools on the other.
Right.
So that's why we left
Okay.
them as separate playgrounds.
And then this isn't necessarily, I know at Ossian, the parking lot to the playground, is there a fence? Yeah, no, there's no fence. Is that something that we, especially with run,
So that's where, that playground that sits right there, that's the one that was put in 2020. That one
that's
will go
all
away.
going?
Yeah, so
And
then
this
that'll
is
just be
further away?
grass.
Okay,
And then the other two playgrounds will be fenced in all the
okay,
time.
okay.
And there are two distinctive playgrounds. One's a 2 to 5 design playground for anthropometrics, and another one is designed for 5 to 12.
Is there anything from your guys' perspective that you say, like, yes, this works, but I would really like to see this?
I don't think so.
We could have, we
Sat
we
down.
juggled through that. There were a couple things that were like the sway benches we wanted added.
The slide.
The rolling slide was
Okay.
something that we thought a lot of kids would benefit from. So
Yeah.
we were able to get some of those things worked into the plan.
Adam, have we looked into potentially renting a dump truck?
I could look into that, but the last, I haven't looked into it, so I really don't know what the cost of that
I
is.
just don't know if we would have a need for it in the future other than the removal of the mulch. or-
My opinion would be yes, we would
Okay.
always have a need for it.
Okay.
And honestly, 5 years down the road, right now, we've got, our maintenance guys are getting older, and we're putting salt in the back, like 40-pound bags of salt in the back of our truck. And so we go around there, and we put 14 bags in the back of there. So I would like to, with that dump truck, is put a big salt spreader on the back of it, build a salt barn, and then just dump it in there, and then do all the parking lots all at once with it. So there's more purpose for it
Sure.
in the long run, for sure.
With this renovation of the playground, are we doing any resurfacing to the blacktop? out
We're getting
there?
prices on that as well.
Okay,
Yep.
because it's kind of rough.
And basketball goals as well.
Okay.
That aren't at a 45-degree angle.
And how long does this rubber flooring, for lack of a better term, how long is that supposed to last?
It depends on your maintenance, and I've talked with Adam about maintaining
Lifelong.
it.
Till
The
I-
biggest thing is like the spinners and the slide exits, because what happens is the UV light breaks down the glue and then it starts to ravel. So once you see it starting to ravel is when you want to put a roll coat of the urethane back on the surface. So as long as you stay and maintain it, I mean, I could see it lasting 20 years plus.
Lifelong.
Yeah, because it's.
22 years is what I'm retiring, so probably at least 22 years.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're putting drainage in it too. Well, they're putting drainage in it, and that's one thing that some schools and parks lack to do in the past, and you get that freeze thaw. That's why you do see some of them fail sooner. But this one has all of the drainage that it needs to be able to eliminate the problem with freeze thaw on it.
Okay. is there anything that you see other schools put in that you're like, if you guys had $50,000 extra, this is what I would put in?
The other thing that I would maybe do is tandem swings. We did belt swings, and tandem swings are swings where kids can play together. And that is another easy thing that you can add onto these swings. We just started putting them in at schools, and the kids line up because they do want to swing together and play together. I would say that would probably be the only other option, but it's only for 5 to 12-year-olds. If you have kids younger than that, they can't be on those swings.
Is that something you guys agree would be cool?
Yeah, play with it, I'm sure.
Because I would rather not do this again, or at least for 22 years, so.
Got that.
If we need to add something, because I know you guys got the pricing down lower than what we had technically allocated, so if there's something else that you think would be beneficial, I'd be okay seeing it. Because it's gonna get used a lot, being in ASEAN.
Yeah, for sure.
And then knowing that we're taking this stuff from ASEAN, moving it to Lancaster, are we fulfilling a lot of the standards and needs that schools need over there now? Or are we still missing a lot over there? I know that's not part of the purview necessarily, but.
I think to move it from Austin to Lancaster, it gives them an extra play piece. We have to do Austin because of the special education stuff. So it just gives, as opposed to us just getting rid of it, trashing it, to move it over there for an extra play piece, I think it just made sense.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Any other questions?
When do you intend to get started?
Probably after, we have to work on a timeline, but we're hoping to be done with it by the start of next school year. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for superintendent's report? Okay, moving on to personnel.
Okay, Mrs. Springer, how we can talk about, go over personnel.
FMLAs, we have Penny Gay, teacher at the high school, and Caitlin Feldheiser, speech language pathologist for the corporation. Resignations, Caitlin Herndon, assistant softball coach for the high school. Recommendations, Sarah Enderline, special education teacher at Ossian. Candace Tom Dunwitty, math teacher at the high school. Haley Steffen, second shift lead custodian for the high school and middle school. Brandon Sumwalt, second shift custodian. Krista Chisholm, part-time occupational assistant. Angela Dean, chess club sponsor at Ossian. Katie Bernard, swim special needs assistant at the middle school. Monica Huffman, creative writing club sponsor at Ossian. Hayden Irma, substitute teacher. Peyton Dunwitty, substitute teacher. And Elena Kuzma, volunteer girls wrestling coach for the high school.
Okay, take a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
A motion for approval. Any questions? Hearing none. Those in favor, right hand. Opposed, same. 4-0. 2025-2027 administration salaries.
So this was presented last week. We looked at a 2% raise recommendation for our administrators. The change, we do have one change, food service director. We moved Rena up to the same pay as the other directors. So that was a little bit of a bump, and you can see that change in that as far as salaries, and that is the only change.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A motion for approval.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any questions? Any questions or anybody wishing to speak from the audience? You guys don't have anything to say? No. All right, all those in favor, right hand. All those opposed, 4-0. Thank you guys for everything that you do. Really appreciate it. Hands on autism contract.
All right, I'm going to have Mindy Shyman come up and talk about hands and autism contract. I'll stay with you. Feel better.
Okay, so what we are asking is for you guys to approve a contract that we will be working with Hands and Autism for this year. So one of the things that Mike had brought up at the last special ed, that's in my brain all the time now, but school board meeting was that when we transitioned from the co-op initially, our primary focus was to strengthen the fundamentals of special education. So that included supporting teachers in IEP development, delivering services to the students, and establishing like a solid special education process. So thanks to the hard work of everybody that we have made significant progress on that. So the next step then moving forward is to prioritize the additional support that we need for staff and students that in addressing the unique needs that they have related to behaviors and autism. So we are hoping that the first step then to achieve this is the partnership with Hands in Autism. What they will do is that once a month that we designate a day for them to come. We preload them with information on 1 or 2 students. They will come in, they'll do observations for those students, and then they sit down with the team and they will work as if they really specify how they want a team approach, not just have like the teacher of record. So it's an entire team that will sit down with them and we'll go over strategies and interventions and different things that will help that student. And then we'll have that ongoing communication that we can work with them if like other issues will arise during that. And then the next month, so then in January, we would pick 1 or 2 other students and we would move from there. So. And to me, this is a great opportunity for us to make that first step into helping the students that have that significant issues with their behavior. So, and they will work with not just with students with autism, but also other areas too. So it's not just in autism, even though they says Hands in Autism, they specified that. You guys have any questions or anything on that?
I see this goes through May 31st, so it's for the rest of this
Yes.
year. Is it something that we anticipate using again next year?
Well, I mean, I think that's going to be an ongoing thing that we're going to be talking about as time goes on to see if this is enough that we need, or do we need to think about hiring an actual behavior specialist or autism support to help us. So this is like that first step.
Is this a voting one?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion for approval. Any other questions or discussion from the board? Are there any members of the public that wish to speak in regards to this action item? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, right hand. 4-0. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Tag application process. So,
So we had another meeting, we had a meeting on December the 3rd. On December the 3rd, it was a collective group of administrators and teachers for the tag process. We had 21 people attend that meeting. We made sure that we talked about the percentage of awarded stipends to use as a guide. So meaning that the elementaries get X%, the middle school, and then the high school. So that, it's not written in stone if we need to, move up a percent because we can't have 6/7 of a teacher or something like that. The application form I have right here, and Tommy helped us work on this. If you have any questions, you can come up and talk about this, but we wanted to keep the form pretty simple. We have a question, is it individual or team? And what team individual is this for, is the application for, content area, brief summary, and then attaching any supporting documentation. So we have that for the teachers. We went over that with them at that meeting. And the window is going to be open December the 10th. Hopefully December the 10th through January the 21st. Board and administrators will receive Microsoft Teams and alerts when the applications are submitted, and the final selection within January 24th executive session and approved after that. Are there any questions?
Do the teachers understand that we do not want this burden of choosing?
Nobody does, so yes, everyone
Okay.
understands.
Because it still baffles my mind, so
Yeah,
we'll do the best that we can come up with.
absolutely. It's not perfect, but
Yeah.
we're making it do.
and did they get rid of I know there's no real policies within this, just an application, but there is not as we move into additional rounds, there's not an intention to restrict
No.
individuals who have
We
received
talked
an
about
award
that at the meeting, and we said at this time, we're just gonna have people apply, and if we need to talk about that
later.
later, we will. We don't know if the process is gonna be changed for next year. There's a lot of state talk that it just might be changed. So this could be a little bit different next year.
Okay. I'll take a motion to approve the process.
Yeah. I'll make a motion for the process.
Yeah, I'll second.
I have a motion for approval. Any questions? Any members of the public that wish to speak in regards to this agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor, right hand, as much as we don't want to. All right, moving on to donations.
Okay, so for donations, we have Schmidt Associates, $2,500 donation to Norwell Staff Appreciation Fund. Joanne Millison, $500 to the Middle School Student Council. We have Park Community Church, $300 to assist with families in need for student meals.
All right, have a motion?
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval.
I'll second.
Have a second. Any questions? Any members of the public? Hearing none. Those in favor, right hand. All right, 4-0, overnight or out-of-state trips.
Okay, so we have an out-of-state trip for the high school and middle school show choir to compete in Kenton, Ohio, February the 21st, 2026. Their application is included as well in the packet.
All right, take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion for approval. Any questions? Any members of the public that wish to speak? All right, hearing none. Right hand for approval, 4-0. Wells County Foundation grant to Lancaster Elementary Pre-K playground.
So this one was one of the additions, so it's something that we received today. Let me see if I can grab it here. So we had one of our preschool teachers reached out and applied for a grant for the Lancaster playground, and she was awarded, or the school was awarded $31,300 for that. So that is amazing. We are so appreciative that she did that. So that will help when it comes to, adding some equipment and different things like that. So you have a copy of that from Tammy Slater.
Were you involved in this, Adam?
Not the grant, no.
Were you involved in the process of figuring out what this playground's going to look like?
We got a meeting scheduled to figure out what this, we had talked about it with Ginger and Adam before about it, because there's two playgrounds there, so we're trying to figure out if there's a different spot to where we can, same thing with Austin's playground, so you don't have kids running out in the middle of nowhere. In between B pod and C pod is, I think, where we're gonna put it at. There's currently a sidewalk that goes to nowhere, so we're gonna take that out and then move that playground from Austin to Lancaster there, and then put a fence in there so it's all enclosed, so we don't have any runners out to the field.
I think when we did our tour last year, early in the year, we talked about that and kind of showed the little area, and
Yeah.
it looks like it would work well.
Can we just make sure that when people are doing grants like this, that they involve facilities folks?
Yes, that, I think that.
I mean, we are very
Mrs.
appreciative.
Fisher, yeah, I've talked to
Okay.
Lillian about that, so we're wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful that, and very thankful for the foundation.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that proper processes are
Absolutely.
followed and
Mhm. Absolutely, that will be communicated.
things.
And this one has a time frame to get it done, according to.
Yeah,
how I
November of 2026.
Yeah,
Should be done by the start of next school year.
okay.
And I don't know too if, I know this was technically awarded to Lily. Should that be modified to be the principal or Adam or somebody that's not?
And we can do that, and I made Ginger aware too, so she'll probably reach out, because it says on behalf of Lancaster Central Elementary School, so I can make sure that we reach out to make sure it's,
I just don't want her to be responsible for.
absolutely, she probably doesn't want to be responsible
Yeah.
either.
So if there is a motion to accept the grant?
Yes, I make a motion to accept the grant.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Any members of the public? All right, all those in favor, right hand. All right, 4-0. Moving on to discussion items, board policy draft revision. for policy number 7510, the facility usage.
All right, I'm going to ask for Adam Heckler to come up to the stand as well and discuss this. It's board policy 7510
Superstar.
for facility usage. I will put that up there on the screen as soon as it lets me.
Good. So I'll just go over some of the changes that we made to the facility usage form. With Tommy's help and technology's help, we are now all digital on that. So there's a tracking process that once the person submits it, then it goes to the first approval and it just goes all the way through there. So it takes all the human paper and everything like that. And we have records of everything. So that's been a big help. It's kind of a struggle to get once we got all the processing done, but I think it's going smooth now. One of the changes that we did is we took out the local tax-supported government agencies such as police, fire, township organizations. There was a charge for them before, so we moved them from group 5 to group 1 to make them a no charge. And the police really use our wrestling rooms. They use Ossian's mezzanine area, just do their training, so they don't really use it a whole lot. We combined Group 4 and Group 6 to make Group 4, which is community citizens, local businesses, community youth activities, and travel sports teams. Must include at least one Norwell student, local civic, service, culture, political parties, nonprofit organizations such as Kiwanis, Optimus, Lions, JC's, churches, and other local communities. On our previous facility use form, we had like gyms, pool, stuff like that. We added the band room, choir room, multi-purpose rooms, and commons areas, as we see that those are some more heavily rented items. We raised the cafeteria with kitchen staff charge from $50 an hour to $60 an hour. We raised the custodial supervision charge from $35 an hour to $40 an hour on Saturdays and $50 an hour on Sundays and holidays. And then we added, so before there was a comment in there that we requested the upfront payment of everything. Now we're requiring the facility usage charge to be paid up front, and then the custodial supervision charge will be paid after the event's over. So we can kind of determine what is really being used, how many hours they were there. And really that was everything that was changed from the old form to this form.
Should, in the fee schedule, group 5 and 6 be removed from the fee schedule?
Correct, yes,
Is
it
there-
should
there-
all, is that, I don't know if that's, I can't
It's
see, I gotta
still
get
on there.
glasses, Chad.
Yeah, you can see it on the big screen.
Yes.
It's out of the explanation of breakdown of the groups, but the fees are still.
Correct, yes, it should.
Okay.
And I think so to get to the facility use form, there's a drop down on the Norwell website, and I think on that, Tommy, that chart has changed, correct?
So, with this being a discussion item, I think when we come back to action, those can be, those
Yeah, sure.
columns can be removed.
The other things are actually things I caught that you didn't change, so we caught them before or talked about them maybe. One of the top bullets under eligible organizations, a responsible citizen is defined, blah, blah, blah. Do they have to, like, does the head person doing the renting have to do a background check or anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do we feel like that's important?
I would say yes. Like I said, I don't know that we've ever done that before. Typically, the renter will submit their application to the secretaries. They go through and make sure, and 99% of the people that rent, we know them. But again, that's not to say that somebody that we don't know doesn't want to rent something and do something. So that goes to the secretaries, they check the calendar to make sure it's good, and then it goes to the principals to sign off on, then me and everybody else to sign off on. So I don't know that there's a background check portion in that yet.
I think maybe we could talk about it and add it in simply as a CYA.
Right.
And go from there. And then the next one, the bullet point right below it says the group or organization must be local, which means most participants in any event, most participants, which means no most participants. Should we add in a percentage? of what most is?
I think there's, in
They
one,
are down in
one
here.
spot there is, it says 70%, I think.
So you think we're good?
Mhm.
I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, I think if we can add in the language of the person renting it needs to have a,
And I guess the other, yeah, and that would be, I guess, court, would that go through? That would be a discussion item that we need to discuss with Courtney.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna monitor that?
yeah.
Right.
What kind of background check are we gonna want them to do, things like that? I think we have them do just a standard, like a volunteer one, but we have parents do to go on field trips and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what, yeah, I don't think they need to do the bigger one that's really expensive, but I would hate for us to rent to someone and then get a call like, oh, hey.
Right, yeah.
Any other questions? Are there any members of the audience that wish to address this discussion item? I gave Anna a few more of the areas to correct, so.
Oh, okay.
All right, hearing none, board administrative team retreat.
Okay, so we were looking at district expectations and planning, looking at the spreadsheet template, and that's also included in your packet. There were just a few items that we would like to have a board retreat to just kind of discuss some of the items, the timelines, how that's going to be graded, I guess. It's kind of like giving a test and saying, here's the test, but how's it going to be assessed? You know, it's just a few more guidelines on some of that. Also, a lot of the things that are in the district expectations, that I'm not given the ILM test myself, but someone, you know, the teachers are too. So we do have the, you know, some of the teachers are feeling, there's a lot of pressure with the testing and stuff like that. So we just gotta make sure that, I'd love to have, the state says 95% pass the I-read. I know we're gonna do that this year. Very, very close last year. 60% pass rate on iLearn. That might be hard, but you know, we're aiming for that. In fact, with that tomorrow, Wells County is having an iLearn PD with all of Wells County. Julie Metzler and I from Bluffton, we attended a training, and the IDOE there was there talking about iLearn, and I think Andrew, and Ginger attended that as well in the PM session. We said, wow, it'd be nice, you're talking to us, we're not, you know, boots on the ground, so can you come talk to our teachers? And so they are. So anyone that could get us up, we have about 50 people attending in the AM and about 50 people attending in the PM tomorrow, weather permitting. And we're going to have the IDOE present on iLearn. And then, you know, just looking at some of the things that are in there, looking at just getting some clarification on improving administrator satisfaction and morale, and just we'd like to have a retreat to talk to you all about that.
Okay.
With a retreat with admin staff or just you and Mike?
Well, I don't know. We talked about both.
I think
So-
Mike's email said admin staff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I took the email.
Yeah.
My concern is that we've now talked about it twice, like once privately, once publicly,
Mhm.
once with Mike, I should say, in an executive
Yeah.
session, not privately.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, at a board meeting, and so I'm not sure us meeting with, like, I love meeting with the admin, but that's not our job.
Okay.
So part of me says, if we need to have another meeting with you two,
Okay.
I get it,
Mhm.
but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, because I think, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of confusion. I think these are expectations of the district that we're putting on,
Mike.
that Mike needs to, so I think it's really his job to make sure that gets delivered.
Mhm.
So, and that's, I mean, I think
Yeah.
we don't want to micromanage.
Okay, so meet with just Mike and I?
Yeah.
And we can do that. We just know that we're not the principals of the building, so it does make it a little, you know, because it is the buildings, but I appreciate
Right,
that.
yeah, but I think that's top down, right? I think we need to have a board retreat with several, a few other topics specific to the board, but, so I think we can put a doodle pull out and with some dates and trying to figure out.
Well, and if there's specific questions that this admin staff wants to submit, and then you guys we talk together, maybe we can do that?
That would be, yeah, that's a good idea.
That's my thought. I mean, like I said, I absolutely love meeting with you guys, so.
I'm sure they're very disappointed about not having to attend another meeting. So.
Yeah, okay. Anything else? Any other business from the board? Okay. At this time, I'll open up to limited public comment. If there are any members of the public that wish to come up and address the board with any topic related directly to the district, you'll have 5 minutes. Please don't all run up at once. All right, going once, going twice.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Have a motion for adjournment. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.